Very few games can truly be called perfect, but every once in a while, a game comes along that completely changes what gaming can be. In this video, I picked 19 games that are genuine 10 out of 10 experiences every gamer should play before they die. And trust me, the final few games are legendary. Let's get into the video. Elden Ring. When this was first announced, people thought From Software was biting off more than they could chew. They thought open world would ruin the tight, punishing level design the studio was known for. But the moment you step out into Limgrave, you realize they actually fixed the open world genre. They didn't fill the map with icons, they filled it with mysteries. It's a 10 out of 10 because it rewards curiosity like no other game in history. If you see a tower in the distance, you can go there, and there's probably a boss or a legendary weapon waiting for you. It trusts the player to find their own way, making every victory feel earned. It's a masterclass in atmosphere and discovery that everyone needs to see.
To be born.
You and I are both survivors.
I am samurai.
Ghost of Tsushima. Everyone expected this to be a standard samurai-themed Assassin's Creed, but Sucker Punch delivered something much more soulful. By using the guiding wind instead of a minimap, they forced you to actually look at the stunning landscape instead of a UI bar. The combat is sharp, cinematic, and incredibly satisfying. But it's the story of Jin Sakai that sticks with you. It's a tragic look at a man forced to throw away his honor to save his people. Whether you're having a standoff in a field of red flowers or composing a haiku by a lake, the game feels like a piece of living art. It's a 10 out of 10 because it's the most polished, beautiful, and respectful take on samurai culture ever made. Black Myth Wukong. For years, this game looked too good to be true. We all thought it was a vertical slice that would never actually ship. But it did, and it's a miracle. It takes the boss-centric design of a Souls-like and pairs it with the high-octane cinematic flair of God of War. The visual imagination on display here is staggering. Every boss feels like a unique piece of folklore come to life. But it's the combat flow and the transformation mechanics that earn it a 10 out of 10. It's challenging without being unfair, and it captures the essence of Journey to the West perfectly. It's a modern legend that proves new studios can still come out and dominate the global stage.
And if you find her, the girl will die.
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is the game that ruined side quests for me. Before The Witcher 3, side content was just filler. After this, we realized that every tiny contract could have a plot better than most full games. CD Projekt Red built a world that feels dirty, morally gray, and incredibly lived in. Geralt of Rivia isn't a chosen one. He's a professional just trying to get paid in a world full of monsters, most of whom are human. The writing is the gold standard, and even 10 years later, it hasn't been topped. It's a 10 out of 10 because it treats the player like an adult and rewards you for paying attention to the details of its world. It is the definitive fantasy RPG.
Okay. Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. We all know the disaster that was the 2020 launch, but the 2026 version of this game is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. The redemption arc is the greatest in the history of the industry. With the 2.0 update and the Phantom Liberty expansion, Night City finally became the vertical, neon-soaked playground we were promised. The first-person immersion is unmatched, the way the world feels, the way the guns sound, and the sheer style of the characters. The story hits you like a freight train, and the relationship with Johnny Silverhand is one of the best character arcs in gaming. It's a visceral, high-stakes RPG that finally lived up to its own impossible hype. Dying Light 2 Reloaded. The parkour in this game is liquid gold. After years of updates and community feedback, Techland turned this into the ultimate movement simulator. There is a specific flow state you hit when you're sprinting across the rooftops of Villador, chaining jumps and paragliding while the volatiles chase you in the dark. It's a 10 out of 10 for me because of that kinetic energy. The melee combat is brutal and crunchy, and the way the city changes based on your choices gives it a level of depth most zombie games lack. Once you master the movement, every other open-world game feels like it's moving through molasses. It's pure, unfiltered fun.
And I'm here to save you again.
Baldur's Gate 3. This game shouldn't even be possible. The sheer level of player freedom here is frightening. Larian Studios basically built a game that says yes to everything you try. If you want to talk a boss into killing themselves, you can. If you want to stack 50 crates and jump over a castle wall, you can. It turns a complex D&D rule set into a blockbuster experience that anyone can enjoy. The characters are incredible, the world is reactive, and every choice you make ripples through the story in ways you won't see coming. It's a 10 out of 10 because it's the most alive RPG ever created, and it sets a bar for the industry that most won't hit for decades.
It blesses me this day.
Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. This is From Software's most focused work. There is no over-leveling here and no co-op to save you. You either master the rhythm of the blade or you stay stuck. It's essentially a rhythm game disguised as a samurai epic. The clink of a perfect parry is quite literally the most satisfying sound in gaming history. When you finally beat a boss that's been killing you for 3 hours, the rush is better than any drug. It's a 10 out of 10 because it doesn't give you any shortcuts. It forces you to learn. And when it finally clicks, you feel like a literal master of the blade. It is combat perfection, plain and simple.
The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming!
God of War Ragnarok. Following up the 2018 masterpiece was a monumental task, but Santa Monica Studio managed to blow it out of the water. This is an epic in every sense of the word. It takes the intimate story of Kratos and Atreus and expands it into a world-ending war across the 9 realms. The combat is heavier and more refined, but the real 10 out of 10 is the emotional intelligence of the script. It deals with grief, fate, and the struggle to be a better man in a way that feels incredibly mature. The finale is a breathtaking achievement that ties up the Norse saga perfectly. It's a game that has a massive heart buried under all that Viking muscle.
Stop thinking like a father for a moment and start thinking like a general!
I reckon it's got something to do with that girl.
The Last of Us Part 1. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This isn't a zombie game. It's a game about the lengths a human being will go to for the person they love. Naughty Dog set a benchmark for acting, facial animation, and narrative pacing that still defines the industry. The journey of Joel and Ellie is a brutal, heart-wrenching gauntlet that forces you to make impossible moral choices. The payoff is an ending that people will be debating for as long as games exist. It's a 10 out of 10 because it proves that games can be high art without sacrificing gameplay. It is an essential piece of human storytelling that everyone should experience at least once.
Shut down.
I got this.
Hades. Supergiant Games managed to make a roguelike that even people who hate roguelikes love. Usually, dying in a game is a setback, but in Hades, death is progress. Every time you die, you go back to a hub full of the most charming, well-written versions of the Greek gods ever put to screen. You learn more, you unlock more, and you try again. The combat is fast, smooth, and endlessly customizable. It's a 10 out of 10 because every single run feels fresh, and the relationship between Zagreus and his father is genuinely compelling. It is a perfect loop of gameplay and story that is impossible to put down.
You can turn back, or I can send you home the painful way. What'll it be?
Bloodborne. Victorian Gothic horror meets cosmic nightmares. Yharnam is the most atmospheric setting From Software has ever created. The air feels thick with dread and the smell of blood. The combat is faster and more aggressive than Dark Souls, rewarding you for playing on the front foot. As the moon rises and the world gets weirder, you realize you're playing something truly special. The boss designs are some of the most grotesque and imaginative in the genre. It's a 10 out of 10 because of its singular, haunting vision. It's a nightmare that you'll never want to wake up from. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This game is a miracle of engineering. It took the world of Breath of the Wild and gave the player a physics-based construction kit that shouldn't even be possible on current hardware. The ability to build anything, from a simple bridge to a fully functioning flying tank, turns the entire world into a giant laboratory for your imagination. It's a 10 out of 10 because it captures that sense of play we haven't felt since we were kids with a box of Legos. It doesn't just give you an adventure, it gives you the tools to create your own solutions to every problem. It is a triumph of game design and pure creativity.
You are our final hope.
Alan Wake 2. Remedy has always been the weird studio, but Alan Wake 2 is their magnum opus. It's a mind-bending trip through psychological horror, detective work, and even full-blown musical numbers. It mixes live-action footage with high-end graphics to create an experience that feels totally unique. It's a 10 out of 10 because it's a work of pure, uncompromised artistic vision. It doesn't follow any industry trends. It does its own thing and does it brilliantly. It's atmospheric, terrifying, and smartly written. It's the kind of game that reminds you that big-budget titles can still be experimental and bold.
FBI, drop the knife!
Hollow Knight. For about $15, you can get a world more detailed and atmospheric than most $60 games. Hollow Knight is the perfect Metroidvania. The sense of mystery as you descend deeper into the ruined kingdom of Hallownest is hauntingly beautiful. The combat is precise and challenging, and the boss fights are some of the best in 2D history. It's a 10 out of 10 because it doesn't hold your hand. It lets you get lost in its world and discover its secrets at your own pace. The art style and the soundtrack are both masterpieces in their own right. Marvel's Spider-Man. This is the definitive superhero game. Insomniac nailed the feeling of being Peter Parker just as much as they nailed the feeling of being Spider-Man. The web swinging is pure kinetic joy. You could spend hours just moving through the city and never get bored. But it's the story that earns it the 10 out of 10. It's a mature, emotional take on the character that hits way harder than you'd expect from a licensed title. The final act of this game is a gut punch that rivals the best Spider-Man movies. It's the ultimate power fantasy paired with a truly human heart.
These next tests require cooperation.
Portal 2. There isn't a single wasted second in this game. It is the smartest, funniest puzzle game in existence. The mechanics are simple. You have two portals and you need to get to the exit. But the way Valve layers those mechanics is genius. The writing, provided by the legendary GLaDOS and Wheatley, is some of the best in gaming history. It's a 10 out of 10 because it's a perfect piece of software. It's the right length, it has the right level of challenge, and the ending is one for the history books. It's a game that everyone, whether they consider themselves a gamer or not, absolutely needs to play.
Real purpose.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is the ultimate space opera. Your choices across 3 entire games carry weight, shaping the fate of civilizations and the people you care about. By the end of the trilogy, these characters won't feel like NPCs. They'll feel like family. The Legendary Edition polishes the experience into one seamless, epic journey. It's a 10 out of 10 because no other game has ever made me feel as responsible for a galaxy as Mass Effect. It is a masterpiece of world-building and character development that offers the journey of a lifetime. If you haven't boarded the Normandy yet, you are missing out on gaming's greatest adventure. 19 games. Thousands of hours. These are the ones that stay with you long after you've put the controller down. They represent the absolute peak of what developers can achieve when they have a singular, powerful vision. Let me know in the comments which one of these is your absolute number one. or if I missed the game that changed your life. Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the best of the best, and I'll see you in the next one.